Welcome to Hoteliers Kenya. This is a channel that attempts to give you inspiration to act as a knowledge sharing platform for professionals in hospitality industry. And today I caught up with Dr. Sam Ikwaye, who is probably well known to you, and we would like to hear about his professional journey from when he left school up to where he is right now. Karibuni sana. Welcome back, my viewers. Welcome to Hoteliers Kenya channel. This is a channel that was created for the purpose of inspiring, giving knowledge, sharing opportunities to hospitality and tourism professionals, especially in Kenya. And we do these videos so that you get inspired by the stories our fellow professionals will be able to share with us. And you probably are starting your career in hospitality and tourism. Please take this as an inspiration, and that will make you, have confidence on what you should expect in this profession. And today I caught up with one, Dr. Sally Ikwaye, who will share with us his journey in this profession from when he left school to where he is right now. He'll be able to share with us what he's up to nowadays and even his future aspirations. Feel inspired. Karibu sana daktari.
Asante.
And we'll just go directly to the interview. And daktari, maybe you can just share with us, how did you find yourself in this industry?
Thank you, Kibe. Mine is a long story, and I think a story shared by many professionals in the industry. I joined the industry, I would say, by default. Initially, during high school, we think of many other professions that we might want to pursue. So tourism and hospitality was never one of the options I thought of. I thought of media. I wanted to do journalism, and I thought of teaching and education. And therefore, after fourth form, I got an opportunity to work as an intern immediately after fourth form, and that is where my interest in tourism and hospitality started growing. After working for a very short time, I got a scholarship to go and do plant mechanics in Eldoret. When I joined Rift Valley Technical Training Institute to pursue an engineering course, hospitality had actually just started in that college, and I transferred then to the hospitality classes, and that is where I did my diploma in food and beverage management. I got a chance to work then in the industry for a short while before going back to school. That was Kenya Technical Training Teachers Training College, KTTC, in Gigiri, where I did my pedagogical training and graduated as a technical teacher, posted to Mombasa Polytechnic then to teach food and beverage and entrepreneurship. While at KTTC, I had a very good experience, and then started my journey to work with the associations. So I was employed after the Polytechnic. I worked for Jocelyn School of Catering, which was a catering school here in Mombasa, before, and also Kenya Hotel Management, before deciding then to advance, now not in hospitality, but in the School of Business. I went back to Kenya Methodist University and did my undergraduate in entrepreneurship. Later on did a master's and a PhD in entrepreneurship. So that has been the academic journey. It has been quite very eventful. Thankful, as I mentioned, I did not have this passion initially, and I think many youth also come from the same background. The challenge we have today is that tourism and hospitality has not been profiled as one of the critical areas that people can actually pursue immediately after fourth form. And even as a lecturer, as I do my engagement with the young people in training institutions, you realize most of them are placed in hospitality and tourism training, not because of their first passion, but because of the placements that are done by the Joint Admission Board. That has been quite a challenge, because then after training, probably people who would have gotten a very good career in hospitality are placed in other professions. And people who are actually in tourism and hospitality by training then get discouraged, because by the time they get to internships and then first employment, they realize this is not what they really bargained for, this is not what they really trained for, this is not the glamour they were looking for. And then we lose a lot of talent along the way. I think going forward it will be a very interesting and a very important thing that for the industry professionals who have been there for some time to take advantage of the ongoing reforms in the education sector, to see how tourism and hospitality can actually be prioritized, probably at the junior secondary level, so that it becomes one of the technical areas that people can actually specialize in. And by the time you get to university, you have actually made up your mind to pursue a career in this area, and then you'll actually be able to attract very good talent that is well prepared for the industry, and actually then have very little attrition rate, because we lose so many people after training who end up in other professions, other diversified areas of practice.
Daktari, and immediately after you left college, what was your first job, and how have you, grown through the profession?
Soon after college, that was after Rift Valley Technical Training College, I was very passionate about food production. So I went in for a post-internship opportunity at Whispering Farms, where I offered to work for 6 months just to learn the industry skills. But I did not finish the 6 months. I was taken in almost immediately in food production. But then I discovered a niche in pastry. So very quickly I zeroed in on pastry, and took some time to understand, so I became a pastry cook. It was at that level before I joined management. I went to Wagon Wheel Hotel as a supervisor. While at Wagon Wheel is when I got a chance to go to KTTC, and therefore I left practice, go to pursue my path in academy.
Oh, wonderful. Yes. Oh, that's brilliant. And this industry has, of course, so many challenges. Where do you see hospitality and tourism, into the future as a profession?
I think tourism and hospitality has a very good future. It has a very bright future, given that it is one of the areas that are coming out very strongly. The service industry is growing globally. And it has a lot of opportunities. It has also been diversified in a big way. A lot of graduates are now not limited. During our time, we were limited to working in hotels and restaurants. Today, you go to the banks, you go to airlines, you go to the ship lines, you go everywhere. Actually, tourism, and particularly hospitality, people actually being sought after. And that is a very good projection of where the industry is going. Back at home, I think we are also strengthening ourselves as a profession. There are a lot of initiatives to try and put together this career so that it can become a respected career like others. It will disappoint many to learn that government, for example, still classifies hospitality as non-skilled category. And therefore, when you go to the Ministry of Labor, you realize that when you work as a casual in some of these government institutions, you're actually paid and categorized as a non-skilled person. So we have a lot of work to do as industry professionals to play our role to ensure that the profession is secured, to ensure that the profession is respected, and ensure that the entire spectrum, the entire journey, right from who trains in the field, who gets certified in the field, and how the work environment, the provision of working in the industry actually secured and actually respected. And will actually be able to bring some honor to this industry. So I can say the profession looks, the future of the profession is very bright.
Okay. And on that note, I know you have been at the forefront championing creation of a tourism professional body, the first ever in Kenya and probably in the region. Maybe you can share with us, the aspiration and what you think a professional body would achieve for this profession.
Yeah, it is worth it to note, and I keep saying that the tragedy and the challenges of the industry structural. Structural in the sense that tourism and hospitality, actually tourism in Kenya, actually, I would say, developed by default. We did not have tourism legislation or legislation to guide development of tourism for the longest time since independence. Until 2012, that is the first time we had the first ever Tourism Act that then structures and outlines the formation and how the industry will actually be organized and run. That is the first time we're having the industry regulator being set up, Tourism Regulatory Authority. Because then otherwise all these years the industry was just operating depending with who was the minister of the day, who are the strongest stakeholders, who had the biggest investment. So the industry was actually run largely by government and investors in the industry. But then the place and the role of professionals had actually been lost. And even hospitality training was not structured. After Kenya Utalii College, it took quite some time before other colleges actually came up. And most of them really struggled to get their footing in terms of the quality and how the curriculum should look like and everything. And therefore, when the Tourism Act was enacted, it set out in the regulations of TRA a provision of establishing a Tourism Professionals Association, TPA. And this professional association is supposed, number one, to keep a register of industry professionals, but also together with the regulator, work on the standards to profile and to support the growth and development of that particular industry. And therefore, we are coming in to fill that particular gap. A few like-minded people came together, registered Tourism Professional Association as a society, and the next level is now to ensure that we have an act of parliament establishing the Tourism Professional Association, TPA, so that then it can be able to do and serve other purposes that are necessary to be able to ensure that the profession is actually secured, the profession is guided properly, the profession is respected. For example, if you ask how many doctors we have today in the country, it is very easy for the doctors and dentists board to tell you how many doctors we have. It is very easy for nurses to tell you how many nurses exist and where they are. It is very easy for the engineers board to tell you how many engineers are in the country. We don't know how many chefs we have in the country today. We have no mechanism of knowing how many housekeepers we have, for that matter. Suffice to say that this industry is actually an industry that is poised to be a high employer. And therefore, if you look at the number of the workforce or the potential of a registered, well-structured register of industry professionals is bigger than the number of teachers we have. And a simple analogy, if you take a secondary school with two streams, we'll give you probably, give or take, 20 teachers, double that to 40 if you wish. If you take a standard hotel, you're talking about 200, 300 professionals. So if you put all these people in a register and probably starting from a particular level and just documenting and ensuring that then you trace the journey of this waiter becoming from training to practice, you realize that we have a very huge potential that we never exploited. And that is the advantage we want to, that is the gap we want to fill through TPA, ensuring that we are able to account for the entire workforce of the profession, so that we can also lift our stakes in terms of engaging government. For example, we have a very fragmented structure of training in tourism and hospitality. It is very easy to take a nurse from a lecture room to the ward to perform a procedure. It is possible to get a lecturer from the engineering class to perform or manage a construction. It is possible to get that lecturer from a law class to represent you in court. We have colleagues who cannot produce a meal, yet they are teaching food production, for example. And therefore, we're looking to days when we'll actually be able to get people with adequate good competencies, that training will be able to match practice, so that we then decide who is going to inform the other. Is the industry informing academia, or is it academia informing industry? And this is the kind of discussion that we must be able to have as professionals, so that then we're able to bridge that gap and be able to work together as industry practitioners and as academia, so that then we can actually have a situation where nobody is complaining of half-baked professionals.
Graduates.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
And on that note, if you're a professional there, and you haven't joined TPA, it's high time you join TPA. Become a member and champion for these changes, and we make our profession great. As we conclude, Daktari, of course, hospitality and tourism has grown, and it is now an alternative career. I mean, it's one of the careers that a young person should take. How would you advise that young person who maybe is thinking of starting his career as a hotelier, or is in his first year in a hotel school, let's say Utali College, any other college? What are your parting shots?
Just like any career you want to pursue, you must have passion for it. So develop passion. And the interesting part about hospitality is, somebody like me, I didn't know about hospitality before I completed my high school, and therefore it is very easy and possible to develop passion. So have passion in whatever you want to do. Number two is have discipline. Consistency is very important. You cannot be very good and tomorrow you're doing mediocre work. So you must be consistent in everything and anything that you do to actually be able to help you to be able to overcome the challenges. And the challenges that students go through the hospitality profession are no different from other young people in other careers. And the third thing we are going to really advocate for is a mentoring program. So ensure you get a very good mentor in the industry. When you have a good mentor, it will be very easy for you to have an easy sell through in the profession. Yes.
Thank you very much, viewers and subscribers of Hoteliers Kenya. If you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell, so that when we have such interviews, you are able to be notified. We continue to bring you interviews from all professionals, from professionals across the whole hospitality and tourism sector. Be inspired. Karibuni sana.